There is another kind of fear I have seen, especially in those people who follow nihilism or existentialism, where the fear is because of the emptiness, because the life has no meaning. This fear of emptiness, this fear of meaninglessness in life, what is the root cause behind this? Why do people fear meaninglessness?
Because one who wants to have meaning is coming to an end. Who in us wants to have meaning? Only that can suffer meaninglessness. And what they are realizing is not that life is meaningless. No, they do not have clue about life yet. What they are realizing is the activities in life are meaningless. Going to office seems meaningless. Achieving something seems meaningless. Becoming popular seems meaningless. Marriage seems meaningless. These are activities. These are the doing aspect of life, not the being aspect of life. What they are realizing is the doing is meaningless, but they are yet to know the being aspect of life. But they think doing aspect is the only aspect in life. Whatever I am doing, I am realizing that it is meaningless. Thus, life is meaningless. They say it because they think life is about doing something all the time, running somewhere all the time, planning something all the time, on some project, some mission, something all the time. No, that is just one aspect. They are realizing that doing is meaningless. Activities are meaningless. But activities are not life. This has to be realized. There is something more than doing. This has to be experienced. There is something more to life than planning and running and chasing and achieving. There is something more. When you realize that doing is meaningless, then you have realized half. Now you need to move from doing to being. And when you move from doing to being, suddenly everything becomes meaningful in a very different way, in a very non intellectual way, in a beyond rational and irrational way. When you move from the realization of meaninglessness of doing to the being aspect of life, then suddenly an explosion of ecstasy happens. A river of bliss starts flowing. Suddenly, life becomes a celebration like never before. But if you have already concluded that doing is the only aspect of life, then when you realize that doing is meaningless, then you will also feel that life is meaningless because you have concluded that doing is life. Activities are life. What people suffer is this: when they realize the meaninglessness of what they are doing, they start thinking that life itself is meaningless. But no, life itself is not meaningless. What you are doing is meaningless. You are yet to know life. You are yet to be touched by life. You are yet to know life experientially. Most people stop here and then their life becomes dry, vegetative, and a lot of them end up killing themselves. Don't stop at doing, move from doing to being, and a new meaning will open up. A new meaning will be given to you by life itself. You will be free from wanting to have any meaning. A meaning will knock on your door, but you will be free from the compulsion of having a meaning in order to live a meaningful life. This is the sphere when doing is seeming meaningless, then the doer seems meaningless because doer had thought that all the values it has is because of its doings. But there is nothing to fear if you know that there is more to life than doing. Nothing to fear.
When anything happens in life of a common man. They don't get this deep, which part is experiencing this fear, is this body, is this consciousness. They don't go in this direction. They simply pray to God or higher entity. Nowadays, people use the word universe more often. What role does prayer play? Because that is something which most of the people do. That is something which is the simplest, I can say. What is the role of prayer in coming out of difficult situations in life?
Prayer is a useful thing or the first of the solutions. Prayer is you wanting to hook yourself to something which can save you from drowning. A common man's prayer is this. A common man's prayer is not about respecting the universe or God or any deity that he or she believes in. It is just that he is drowning and he wants to be alive. So he throws his hands and leg that something should come in my hand, holding which I can at least swim. And that is why, if you notice, then you will realize that most people pray to those gods and deities who are already very famous and very higher, isn't it?
Yes,
Why? There are, as you say in India, 33 million gods and goddesses. But why everybody is praying to Shiva or Rama or Krishna? Not because they know Shiva or Rama or Krishna. It is simple psychology that let's try on the highest one. It always amazed me that why everybody prays only to the bigger gods and goddesses. Why not simple ones? Why everybody wants to visit the bigger temples? Why not the village temples? This is a common man's situation. He wants to try somewhere where there is more assurance. So one prays to the highest of the gods. There is more chance of getting some help. It's like you have no money, so you ask to the richest person. At least you will try contacting the richest man in the town. there is more chance of getting some help. When a person is going through this dryness in life, which comes out of realization of meaninglessness of whatever he was doing in life, then it is the time to move from doing to being. It is the time to move from what he had thought what life is to what actually life is. But he has never walked this path before. He does not have any clue of this journey before. So he seeks help. And remember, all those who are seeking help from the God have sought help from first their friends, their family, society, government, doctors, gurus. At the end, they go to God. When they see that friends are not helping, parents are not, society is only judging and judging, in fact, calling me mad. At the end, he goes to God that you are the final one. Beyond you, there is no one I can go to. You are the last one. That is why we go to the God at last, not at first. This journey is new, so little help is needed. A guide is needed, not to help you walk necessarily. No, you know how to walk, but a guide is needed to tell you where to take the turn, where to stop for a while, where the road is elevated, where it is steep. A guide is needed for that, so you don't get lost. So, prayer is just the search of somebody who can help, from your friends to the God. Anybody, everybody.
Okay. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.